Delishees, what's up? Grab a plate and feast on the delicious culture. I'm your host, Jon Francois, and boy, do we have two meals for you this week. One is the big streaming hit that everybody's been talking about, Heated Rivalry, which you can see on HBO Max, and the other, which just ended after nearly a decade, if you can believe it, Stranger Things on Netflix. And I couldn't do this by myself. I had to do this with a good friend of mine, Ehhsteph. You want me to say just first name or first name and last name?
Steph is fine. I could be on art like a Steph. Like
I love it. First name basis like Cher, Madonna, Ariana. Like I love that. I love that. Steph is a great friend of mine from my home state of Connecticut, who I met through her sister Cassandra, who I mentioned when Cassandra was on with her husband James recently. That Cassandra and we did theater together at the University of St. Joseph in Connecticut. Cassandra and her husband James talked K-pop Demon Hunters with myself and my former co-host Andrew. So please check out that episode wherever you get your podcasts. Were you on the K-pop Demon Hunters thing, Steph?
I was. It's because of them, because they were like, hey, we want to show you this movie. And my niece, she's like, you've got to watch this movie. So I did. And I was like, oh my God, I really like this. And then I was obsessed with Golden and I use it as my workout. I think I've even made TikToks and stuff with the entirety of the K-pop Demon Hunters. So I was like, I fell in love. How could you not? It's an
infectious movie. How many times do you think you've watched it?
Do I have to say the honest truth?
Please.
Within the year that it came out, maybe 30 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
I think my sister said 75. I think I heard on the podcast. She's like
75. I was thinking you were going to say like 95 just because maybe your niece roped you into it. But no, 30 seems generous. I like that. I like that. All right. So yes. So check out that episode for those of you listening who haven't checked it out yet. Steph, I think you and I have known each other for over a decade because I know. Yeah. Because I remember our first public collaboration of sorts. You were on a public access television show that I did in my hometown of West Hartford. I know you were working with a collaborator of yours at the time. I don't know if you want me to mention what you guys were working on.
Projects with Chad, that you were our first ever that we were on TV ever.
Yeah, and that was And I remember that was a clothing brand, but it was also much more than that, right? It was sort of like a lifestyle, self-help, enrichment sort of mindset. Well, what was it? I forgot what it was.
So it started off as like a clothing brand, but it turned into like a motto. Like it's kind of like the freaks, like the kind of like the Losers Club, like an It. We were the Rejects, and it was actually very heavily inspired by a lot of the pop culture that we liked as kids, me and Chad, especially in our high school. So it ended up turning and integrating into a comic book and turned into School of Rejects. So and Chad has carried on that legacy. So it's nice to see at least he's still doing it. So
I love that. And I know that you also were on a college radio version of the Anything show, I don't know, around 2016, 2017. This was before it became a podcast for those of you listening. And we debated pineapple on pizza. I know I was for it. You were against it. And then we just had this playful online debating back and forth for quite some time about it. And then I think like we eventually called it a truce. Was it because you tried it and loved it?
So I ended up getting bariatric surgery last year. And of course, my taste buds changed. And I told my husband, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try pineapple pizza. I want to see if things have changed.
Okay.
So we bought Domino's pineapple. I was like, let me go with the basic Domino's. Who could do it wrong? So let me try. And I only got pineapple and I think I just got pineapple. I was like, let me just try with the only thing that I was like telling him was gross on pizza. And I was like, oh no, I really like it. And I think I caught myself on film too. I was like, I really like this. And Jamie, my husband, was like, are you sure? It's disgusting. I was like, no, I failed. I'm like, now I have to I literally was like, God damn it, Jon. And I was like, I have to make a post. He's like, why do you need to make a post? I was like, you don't understand how long this has been going on. So I had to go back in old Facebook videos and show him the first interview. And I still have it on my phone. So I was like, it's been a long ongoing thing. And I tried to do that friendship thing between us on Facebook. I was like, oh my God, we have been talking about
that. It's a legacy. And and when we promote this episode, I have to see if I can find a picture of us during those radio days when we talked about pineapple on pizza. Look, I will concede that when you just in conversation mention the mixture of a sweet citrusy fruit on a sauce cheese thing, it
Yeah.
does sound disgusting when you talk about it.
It
But
did. It did.
but when you taste it, you have so much respect for
I
things that sound disgusting by word.
I now feel like it's the right combination of salty and savory, and I was like, "Oh, wow, this is sweet." I was like, "Oh, man, like, this really changed my taste buds." Because there's now certain things that I don't like anymore now after surgery, so I'm like, "This sucks," but in a weird way, you know? It's good. The
What
bad
di
has won, but now we have to talk about the pumpkin and the that's the next battle. I think that's a different discussion, but
What
sweet
I'm curious.
potato.
Wait. Well, so what did you like before surgery that you now don't like after surgery?
Salads or it just doesn't like, I used to be a huge wooden top, like, I will tell people and I always like, get the, apricot salad, get the steak salad, it's amazing, and now I'm just like, "Ooh," it just doesn't do anything for me. I take
Interesting.
off the tomatoes. I used to add extra pickles, extra lettuce. I'm taking off the tomatoes and lettuce off of my stuff. I'm like, "Ew."
Okay.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a
Alright.
whole new realm for me. This whole year has been like a whole like reconnecting with what I can eat and what I cannot and what I like and what I don't. So
And I know you didn't like Heated Rivalry. I know you're
I
probably
try.
look, it's okay, it's okay. I think it makes a much more interesting discussion because this show has been critically acclaimed and audience acclaimed out the wazoo. I'm one of the boring people that's like, "Oh my god, I love this show. I can't wait for season 2."
Art girl. Okay. I will always forever like Noah's Ark. They're in my top tier of that. So I'm like, I don't know if that could beat it, but it just I think the intro I have to finish it because I don't think I should be judging it so quickly until I finish it. But I
Are you
just
sh
know that
you sure
I
you want
will.
to? You sure you want to? Because
Oh
I was ready to
no.
spoil the whole show for you because I
Oh
knew
no.
you didn't want to finish it.
Look, I'm not a Swiftie, and I ended up watching her documentary for my sister and my niece just to understand because I will never be a Swiftie, but I'm like, just you gotta watch this stuff, you gotta listen so you can understand why, you know?
Yeah.
So, that
I like a few Taylor songs. Don't um definitely don't describe myself as a Swiftie as your sister Cassandra, who by the way was also on the podcast a long time ago to talk about her concert experience during the Eras tour. So listen to that if you'd like. But I definitely want to watch that documentary, and if I do, you need to come back so we can talk about it.
yeah, I'm up for it. I hope my sister doesn't shoot me for hating on it,
Well,
but
you and your
okay.
sister need to come back on the
I'm
podcast.
like,
How about a joint appearance if we're with
"Oh,
you and your
man,
sister? I
you're
think that would
just
be great.
trying to start sister rivalry now."
A great sequel to Heated Rivalry, but obviously a lot less sexual. So let's just give ourselves and those listening who may not know the basic facts before we get into your opinion about it. According to IMDb, if you don't know, Heated Rivalry, it's about two rival hockey stars at the top of their game. They face an unexpected challenge when they develop feelings for each other, which complicates their careers and the sport's expectations. It is created by Jacob Tierney. It is based on the Game Changer novel series by Rachel Reed. Were you familiar of this prior? Because I wasn't.
I wasn't either. My friend actually told me to read the books. My coworker, she was like, "Hey, you should read the books instead." I was like, maybe I'll
Mm.
get into the book better instead of because what died it down was the actors. I especially I didn't get connections with them. They didn't really wow me. I
Oh,
know. I tried.
we got to elaborate more on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, anytime someone tells me, "Oh my God, read the books, it's so much better than a TV show or a movie," like my dumbass ADHD self is just like, "Oh God, the time and the attention that I have to spend reading these pages or listening to the audiobook." Yeah,
Uh, I mean, I'm actually trying to read more books this year, and I actually just finished a book, what, 2 days ago? So it was not bad. So I was like, "Oh, cool. I can
good
do
for
this."
you.
So maybe I could do the Harry Potter run. I've never read the Harry Potters. I've only watched the movies.
Okay. Well, is Harry Potter the book you read, or is there something else?
No, 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 it's a different one. It's, called Annalee in Real Life. That's what it's called.
What genre is it? Like romance?
I think, like, more like romance, like, like protagonist is plus size girl and
Yeah.
bully, but I was like, "Oh, this is a great book. It's not bad." I was like, "I should start reading more often."
I'm a sucker for romance. I remember I listened to a romance audiobook as I was on a plane and I knew I couldn't quite sleep comfortably and it was a great experience. I forgot who the author was, but romance novels, I don't sleep on that. I don't sleep on that.
Yeah, I like
Um,
romance novel. I like the, like, a little bit of the raunchy. I'm starting to kinda look for those and see see how they do. I don't know if my husband will appreciate it.
You might like Game Changer, because I've heard that the Game Changer series, especially Heated Rivalry, fittingly enough, I think the second book in the series, it really gets there. So I don't know, to each their own. But yeah, this is a Canadian sports drama. It originally premiered on Canada's version of all our streaming services, which is called Crave, and then I guess it picked up steam there. HBO Max here in the United States was like, oh my God, let's stream this. And the response has been insane. It's been top driver of new subscribers to HBO Max. It's got 98% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, Washington Post, Cosmopolitan, New York Post, etc. It's given it all the praise. But going back to you, I remember we were messaging about this, like, oh my God, watch Heated Rivalry for this episode. And then, like, I think 4 episodes in, because you've gotten up to 4 out of the 6 episodes, right?
Maybe 3. Maybe 3. You know what?
Okay.
I blame it half on because I was so stuck on Stranger Things. Like I was rewatching, and plus I was sick. So when you're sick and drinking medicine and then trying to watch a show and then getting recovery, I don't think I gave it my full attention. I think now that I'm getting a little better, I can like concentrate. Maybe that's why I wasn't so engaged into the actors. Maybe it was the flu medicine. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna rewatch it and try it again and be like, let me connect, because I do think you should watch it not being super sick.
Okay.
I had to rewatch Stranger Things myself because I watched it while I was sick at the movie theaters and putting on a mask, and I had to rewatch it again because I'm so meticulous with details. I like to rewind and then I'll check what song it's playing, and I'll check to see what they're saying, and I'm so weird.
So, when you, this is interesting. I want to ask if, like, when you take medicine for, like, recovering for the flu, are you, like, mellow, chilled out, sleepy? Like,
it was horrible. I was just like, I was like,
yeah.
Theraflued up. Like, I was like, I think I'm falling asleep. No, I want to fight to sleep. And then I'd be stuffy nose, coughing, choke laugh. It's like, you're doing all this while watching a show. You're gonna miss something. You know what I mean? You're trying your best to like concentrate. And then I'd be like, I gotta pause it. My head hurts. And then I went back and I'm like, oh my God. So you're kind of losing the story a bit. So
Okay. Okay.
so I have to like really be like, my husband knows, if you talk, get out. Like, don't talk when I'm watching my show, especially Downton Abbey. I'm like, don't talk. So
Okay.
yeah.
So are you looking for something that's like high stimulating, like in your face, like high energy when you are in that sort of cold medicine mellow state to keep your attention? I guess
Yeah.
more of a mellow romance drama is not your
I'm
cup of
like,
tea?
I create a zone, you know? We all create
Okay.
a zone. Like, we're in the gym, you're like, put your headphones on. When I watch movies, my husband knows, the lighting has to be great. I even have like, the sound has to be a certain quality, the bass. Like, I
Mhm.
just need to have it's my go-to. My husband knows I'm a movie. I've watched all types of movies. I can watch movies all day. So, or series.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So I think that this might, because I was wondering if you were, if you would be so kind to elaborate more on, like, you saying the show was just okay and the actors were boring you, but it sounds like it's more so because of the state of mind you were when
Well,
being sick, or is it, or is a significant amount of it just like your true natural opinion?
so I'll say in the beginning of the show, right? And I don't want to spoil anything, but just in
No,
the
no, no, no.
beginning,
We're gonna spoil it.
yeah,
All right.
okay. So the beginning, the male, the Rush, I'm like I said, I would remember their names, but
The
the
Russian is Ilya Rozanov, played by Connor Story.
so Ilya was very, I guess because I also, like you said, we're into romantics, and he was so dry to me.
Hmm.
I was so irritated by his quality of a character in the show, and I'm
Mhm.
like, ew, why is he liking this dude? So irritating to me. Like, he annoyed the shit. I was just like, ew, you could do so much better. And I did see that like cat and that like Selena Kyle and Batman thing. Like, they liked it. It was nice. And even just the douchebagness of him trying to flirt with him in
Mhm.
his like his tone, it was great. I think it's because I see more of the dork effect in my romantic thing than
Mhm.
the like masculine jock that's like trying to do the douchebag thing and flirt with you. Maybe that's why I didn't connect.
Yeah.
But I was just so like, you could tell even the kid, the Canadian,
Yeah,
who
Shane.
yeah, Shane just seems so like kind of like pawning at him and just standing there with him, and I was
Yeah.
just, oh gosh.
And it's fitting, and it's funny that you say Ilya was the boring one, because the running joke that Ilya basically says to Shane throughout the show is that you're very boring,
No,
Hollander.
Ilya was boring.
Ilya,
Ilya was boring. I was like, Shane, go some you're focused. Focus on your life. You're so focused. This kid's just distracting you.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I guess he's probably a tight ass and making him have fun and stuff like that. But
Yeah. I will say Ilya represents sort of this toxic stereotypical masculinity, in that, like, yeah, he's trying to present as this manly macho man who's good at hockey. The actor has a fantastic Russian accent. I don't know if you know, but he's Texas born. And
oh, really?
if you watch him in interviews, he has a higher pitched standard American voice. So he studied Russian. He put on the accent. It's insane, the transformation. So you have to see Connor's story in interviews. But if you saw boringness in Ilya, maybe that's not so much a bad thing, because there are guys that are like, like that sort of thing, where it's very standard with them. Like I like sports, I like fucking, I like to put on a deep voice, I like to work out. There's not much substance there other than all that. So I really think that is an interesting take. Ilya is the one that's calling Shane boring, but really Ilya is boring because you can find 100 million guys like him. But Shane, how many guys are you going to find like Shane in hockey who are very timid and fragile and sweet and fall in love? So Shane, probably a lot more interesting than Ilya thinks he is.
Maybe also too, I'm looking at a perspective as a woman, like being like, oh, I would totally see myself dating someone like Shay, or I
Sure.
can see him being like a character. It just felt like Ilya didn't really, his attention span was just like, ugh. I was like, all right, get off the screen. I was like,
You're
let's
too
go look for
much.
another guy for Shade. I think there was one guy, which I'm not into the show, so if you spoil it, it's fine. But there was one that kept looking in the first episode of him and his relationship with him. I think he was in the same hotel room next door to him.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, one of the fellow
I
hockey
liked
players.
him. I was like, okay, he could be possibilities. So I don't know if there's anything with
No.
him within the
No.
show. Oh, there isn't. So I was like, damn.
Shane, Hollander, and Ilya Rozanoff all the way. I'll just kind of run through my thoughts, and I want to just hear what you think of them. If anything pops up, please feel free to chime in.
Yeah, of course.
So knowing the queer romance that was about to come about, I just loved the way the show started, like this very serious sports hetero vibe. Like, you have these shots of hockey intensity. Of course, you have shy Shane meeting intimidating Ilya outside the hockey rink. You have that scene where they're trying to outdo each other, working out on that treadmill. So there is enough in that first episode where someone who has never read the books, who may think that this is a standard masculine hockey drama, they may think, oh, I'm just getting something that's like very intense and sports and manly and hetero. So I can only imagine what they would think when they realize that it's like, oh, it's a really, really, I think, a beautiful queer love story. I think it might have been, was it in the first episode that we saw Shane and Ilya giving each other the looks at their crotches after they finished working out? They were like,
yeah, yeah. That was the first episode. I was like, oh,
they're going there.
Like Ilya didn't even have headphones on. If I would be like, wow, like this.
Yeah,
we just did it hardcore. He did it raw. He didn't have no music. He was just like, I'm just gonna breathe all loudly. Shane over here had the little headphones. I was like, I don't know how you're doing this with no music.
right. And with Ilya masturbating in the communal shower, like encouraging Shane to look at him and partake. That was also the first episode. Was that it?
I thought that was the second episode. No, it was the first episode. See,
yeah. They laid it all out on the table. And I believe in the first episode as well is where you get their first of many hotel room hookups. And I gotta be honest, I was like sort of similar to your mindset watching the first episode, because I thought that we were just gonna get, oh, they're hetero masking hockey players by day, and then by night they have this secret queer love affair. They're good. They're playing all these naughty sex games with each other. I thought the show was going to be about that because all the social media buzz made it seem that.
Yeah.
And I was going to tap out if it was that because I just don't find that to be substantive. But I think it was maybe the moment where a bunch of time goes by because my god, I mean this is like over a stretch of like what, 8 years this first season. Like you get like 6 months later and 2 years later and 3 years later, and there was a moment in time where Ilya was going through his family issues in Russia. He has a dad that's going through dementia, you know.
The brother that's like a cokehead, right? Isn't he like?
Oh, I don't know if his brother is a cokehead, but I know there's a conflict there. The brother uh is supposed to be in charge sort of taking care of their father but is not quite doing it, and he's constantly asking Ilya for money.
Yeah.
And of course Ilya, you put on top that Ilya is queer. He's bisexual, but still like the fact that he loves men is a big problem in Russia, so there's problems with going back home and dealing with that. So Ilya's dealing with that, and then I guess the pain of all that, not really opening up about that. He ghosts Shane for a long period of time. Shane and him kind of reunite at this awards show ceremony, and Shane is understandably frustrated that Ilya is has ghosted him all this time, and he confronts him in the bathroom about it. And Ilya tries to distract from that painful conversation by saying like, "Oh, what if I suck your dick? Would that make anything better?" Something like that. Something of that nature. And I want to kind of this is where I might be like in line with your Ilya frustration. I kind of wanted to scream and be like, Shane.
Yeah. He already frustrated me in the first seconds of the episode. I was like, ew.
Yeah. Because Shane obviously deserves better. You can clearly see Shane falling in love with this guy,
Yeah.
And Ilya just being like, all right, I'm gonna push my feelings down. I'm gonna do that toxic masculinity thing where I'm not really gonna confront the true difficulties that I'm going through. And Shane falls for the sexual game of it in the bathroom. So I'm thinking as I'm watching that scene, okay, maybe it's just going to be more naughty sex game stuff. But then I think when they have their sex thing in the hotel room after that bathroom moment, that's when we cut to them just sitting awkwardly in silence,
Yeah.
like looking at their phones or kind of looking away because when all the sex games happen, sure, they could be fun, but when they stop, what do you have left? You have your life, you have the pain that you still have to confront. So when we got to see more of that, combined with Shane and Ilya clearly falling in love with each other in their own way, that's when the show became very substantive and meaningful to me. So that's great. I don't know. I don't know if you had any thoughts about that, but like that's when I started to fall for it and say, okay, this is not just some stupid 50 Shades of Grey-esque experience.
You didn't like 50 Shades of Grey? No.
I never watched it, but my mom, who claims to be a very devout Christian, and you could be Christian and enjoy 50 Shades of Grey, but like she's one of those Christian women that likes to make the appearance of like, oh, don't talk about sex. I want to just be pure and not have profanity. But then, she'll read these books and then I'll just be like, what are you doing? Like, look at you reading these books. And she's just like, I just want to know how it ends. Leave me alone. Like that's what she's like. But anyway, go ahead. Your thoughts on this and also 50 Shades of Grey, if you'd like.
I think I need to like probably because you mentioned stuff and I'm like, oh, I didn't know they really start to like each other in that sense because I haven't gotten that far. So I'm like, I I kind of if that's going to be how it's going to be created, because I think that's why in the beginning I was like, "Oh god, is this gonna be like this whole, like, I'm gonna hide who I really am,
Right,
and I'm
right,
gonna
right.
do this and just use this kid." It's not substance, but now that you're saying if there's more to it, then like I said, I would like to rewatch it and finish it and see where my opinions are fully, because right now I can say, just with the, like, 2 episodes, 3 episodes that I've seen, I'm like, "Okay, it's it's okay." I I'm a little bored. But I
uh,
wanna give it an opportunity, like I said. I did the same thing with, other shows with my sister too, like, and 50 Shades, I was like, "Oh god, this is so stupid." Because I went on a date with someone. Someone took me out on a date to see this movie, 50 Shades. They
Yeah.
took me, and I was just like, this is so terrible. Like, this is, I hope this wasn't his idea of like him thinking this was romantic. I was like, or like sexually intriguing. I was like, this is so awful. This is
The
awful.
idea, so this was a first date that someone thought?
No, it's probably no, actually second, third date. Yeah, third date. He's like,
Even
oh,
then, did they just think it was a fun, ironic idea to do that, or they really thought?
I have no idea. This is back in the days, but I was just like, oh gosh. And then
Yeah.
they even got like, I don't know if you remember, but those chairs that went up in the middle was lifted
Yeah,
up.
sort
I was
of.
like, it even made it worse. I was like, oh God, this is not, put the thing down. Put the thing down. Not, it's not, I just feel like the grasp of it being supposed, I didn't read the book, but I know it's supposed to be very like S&M and very this, and I didn't get that from the movie. I just got a really annoying actress with terrible bangs, and I like
Dakota
the
Johnson. Yeah.
yeah, I liked him. I felt more of a vibe for him, but the acting wasn't. It was very dry to me. Like I
Mm.
said, I think it's because I've watched older movies that like Kids feels more raw than 50 Shades of Grey. Have you seen the old movie Kids with kids in New York and Rosario
Oh,
Dawson's first
yeah,
movie?
Rosario Dawson. I think that was like her first big
I
movie.
feel
It was
like
like an
that was more
independent movie.
raw than 50 Shades of Grey. That I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I'll have to
so
check that out. I'll have to check that out. But yeah, the 50 Shades of Grey, the book I know has it's like to me it's like Twilight in the sense of there are people who read it and are just obsessed and love it and they find it comforting and a guilty pleasure, and then there are people who say this is an insult to literature. What the hell is going on?
I mean, I am a Twilight person only because I think it's just like a guilty pleasure. I do like them because at the time I was like, I think I was in middle school when that book came out, or I was in elementary. Was I don't know what grade I was because I introduced it to my sister, and I think I just liked the story because it had vampires
Hmm.
and it had that and wolves. Because I was a big fan of Blood and Chocolate,
Hmm.
Annette Curtis Claus. I love Silver Kiss. I felt like that was the original Twilight, to be honest, if we had to be real.
Interesting.
And then they made a movie out of that one, and they changed the whole story. It was terrible. And then when Twilight came in, I was like, okay, cool. Now they finally created a book that actually kind of matched it. So I did like the essence of Twilight, but I think it cheesed it down when they made the movie because the book was great in its like moments, but then when the movie was made, it became like this pop culture phenomenon, and I was like, no, I shouldn't be thinking romantic thoughts. And there's an 8-year-old loving Jacob and Edward. And I'm over here like, oh God, no, this was probably like my moment of like sexual fantasy. And there's a little girl like him, like, I don't like it.
Yeah, I heard Kristen Stewart wants to direct sort of like a deep dive into Bella Swan's story. So that's something that I heard from like the Today Show, I believe.
Is
So
she gonna act better?
ah, but going back to Heated Rivalry, I would say it's not entirely focused on Shane and Elia. There is an episode that completely goes and focuses on hockey player Scott Hunter. So I know that Elia plays for the Boston hockey team, Shane plays for Montreal, and Scott plays for the New York team. And there was an episode that had focused entirely on Scott, who's also closeted, and he jogs wherever he's playing, and he goes into this smoothie place and he meets this man that he finds very handsome named Kip, who works at the front desk.
Kip. Oh,
Yeah,
Kip.
yeah, smoothie attendant, smoothie barista. I have no idea what you call Kip, but he's the person that's serving smoothies to Scott. They obviously have a attraction to each other by the way they're looking to each other. And Scott, being the superstitious athlete that he is, but also closeted, he's finding a man that he's really attracted to. He keeps coming back like every day after his jog to get a smoothie from Kip, a specific kind of banana blueberry smoothie. And it starts to grow into, oh god, I think Scott invites Kip to a game, and then they go out to some, maybe hockey player celebrity event, and Scott invites Kip over to his apartment, and yeah, they do the deed. They have a very passionate affair, And you can tell that it's a very sweet love between these two growing, but it's also heartbreaking because you're dealing with a closeted thing. Scott tells Kip that he cannot come out for the sake of his career. He would have to wait until he retires. And you can see the pain in Kip's face when he hears that. But at the same time, you can also see that he loves this person enough to wait. I'm practically screaming at my TV, Ehhsteph. I'm just like, no, because look, I don't know. Like I personally am not a gay man, so I don't know, but I would imagine that if you are an openly gay man and you are choosing to adjust to the lifestyle of a closeted man, that's got to be a lot of baggage, right? Because you're dealing with someone who is afraid to be themselves, afraid to show themselves publicly. So literally your entire existence, your love, your relationship with this person, it's all non-existent in the eyes of everyone else. And it's just this secret that I feel like would just be exhausting to maintain every day.
I've had so many gay friends that I've in experiences in seeing them be the secret or be
Yeah.
like, and it sucks because you're genuinely taking a piece of them and telling them, hey, I want to be secretive, like I want to hide you. And it feels the same way even when you're straight, when you're that side chick girl and you're like, no, we just want to keep you as a secret. Like I want to make you the actual girlfriend, or we just got it's so it's definitely heartbreaking. And I didn't even know there was another storyline. So now that you told me that, then I might be
You're not
more
watching the show because I'm spoiling it for you.
I might be invested in Kip's relationship with this man, but I
Yeah.
probably would want to throw something at the TV because I hate seeing someone be like closeted or kept a secret. I don't like it.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So
a lot. It's a lot to see.
yeah.
So that was definitely one of the most beautiful episodes of television I've ever seen.
Mm,
And then we eventually
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
fine, watch it,
I'm gonna
but
watch
I ruined it for you. So you have to be
It's
content
okay.
with
No,
that.
because I will be on the feelings because I like when there's at least a moment of some type of like you're not like being a bully or like I don't know, like I said, that relationship, maybe I'll fall in love with it once I watch the show. But if you're telling me there's a whole story with actual like you know what I mean? I to see that
Yeah,
relationship.
yeah. We eventually get back to Shane and Elia, and they take it to the next level where they're spending the night with each other for the first time in, I believe, Elia's place. And they have this moment while they're having sex in the heat of the moment. They refer to each other by their first names because
Mhm.
if you noticed in the sexual experiences that you may have seen between them in the first half of the season,
Names.
yeah. What is it? Hollander, Rosen,
Yeah,
Hollander,
totally.
Rosen, like
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But once it becomes, oh, Shane, oh, Elia, like that's where Shane freaks out and leaves Elia, of course, confused. Because Shane, being the one that you can clearly see is falling for Elia, he kind of knows, like, oh shit, this is getting real and this cannot happen. I don't think this will last. So I gotta like go somewhere and avoid this and not try to lean more into this love. And that's where he has a beard, so to speak, in
Shame.
this actress name Rose, is it Rose Lang or Rose Landry? Yeah, Rose Landry? Rose Landry. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes.
It's okay. I probably don't remember Shane and Eli's name, so you're better than me.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So, for those of you who don't know, a beard is another way of saying that there's a gay man who essentially gets a female, whether it be a friend or whoever, give an appearance in public that this is my partner, whether it be girlfriend, wife, as a way of further closeting himself. So Shane's beard was an actress named Rose Landry. That angers Elia, makes him jealous once he sees that this is a big public thing because Rose Landry in the show is like this big time actress. So Shane, I guess, to like further hide himself and make himself seem like this safe, acceptable hetero man, is like, all right, let me cultivate this relationship with Rose, and hopefully this love I have for Elia will just die down and just go away. You know what I mean? Like Elia can be bisexual. Maybe I can be bisexual.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, didn't Elia sleep with a girl in some place and just had sex with her on the table? From what I remember, an episode she just surprises him, and
I
all of a
think
sudden he's
that might be his female friend slash complicated partner, Svetlana from Russia.
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, yeah. So Ilya's bisexual, Shane is gay. Ilya seems to have this sort of back and forth thing going on with Svetlana. God, I cannot say Russian. But anyway, going back to Shane, I mean, you get this nightclub dancing scene between Shane and Rose and what appears to be a gay friend of Rose's. And I think the gay friend dancing, you know how it's like this three-way dancing thing where it's like, oh, one
Yeah,
person's in the middle and the two people are
I
dancing.
know the real life one, yeah.
Yeah. You were rolling your eyes as if you've done those like three-way dances before.
I
And
used to have a life before in
me,
my
me too.
20s.
Me
Oh,
too.
my 20s were definitely Polo was the best place on earth. I love Polo so much. So
That was a nightclub, or is that a shirt?
it was a gay nightclub. I was a
Oh.
host there, so it was just the best. I think we were just so free. So it was either drag queen, me, my friend. It was like a five dance.
Oh my.
Lovely.
A lovely dance train.
Just a lovely like workout.
Yeah, I love that. But like Shane looked uncomfortable looking at the gay friend of Rose's behind him. And you kind of sense that Shane has this like discomfort on this face, like, oh, this is a reminder of what I can't have with Ilya. So that happens. And then I think like Ilya is also at the nightclub and he's looking at Shane doing his thing. And Ilya does his thing with, I don't know, Svetlana or some other girl he's with, trying to make it seem like, oh, yeah, okay, you're going to be moving on with a girl that you really don't like. I'm going to be doing the same thing too. Yeah. So Rose, there eventually has to come to a point where Rose and Shane have to come to terms with the fact that Shane is gay. Shane's not into Rose like that. I loved the way it turned out. And again, this is going to be something that you may want to watch, but don't even bother because I've spoiled it for you. But I thought it would be like Rose catches Shane in the act. She's surprised. She's hurt. Awkward for Shane, yada, yada, yada. But no, like Rose and Shane, they go out to dinner after like a failed sexual encounter between them the other night. And Rose pretty much gets direct that she is suspecting that Shane is gay. And Shane is emotionally taking that in. He's hesitant. He's not sure what to do. But instead of Rose being like, I don't know, taking it personally, taking it hurt or whatever, she just becomes this sweet source of support and love and friendship. Like, hey, it's okay. And we can be best friends. This is going to happen. We're going to be best friends and call me if you need anything. And I don't know. I thought the way that they treated that moment was great because Rose could have clearly been the enemy, but she wasn't. She was like, no, I'm loving the fact that this is who you are and you can tell me anything. And I got you.
You wanna know something funny and
Oh,
relatable? That actually happened to me,
what?
uh, with a friend. I will never out him, but I had a friend who I had a crush on, loved him. I fell in love with him, and came off very straight, completely because every other girl was with him, of course,
Yeah.
when I was with him, and then we went to Polo for an opportunity because I worked there. I was like, "Hey, you guys wanna go see a show?" And a lot of the guys that I knew at that time weren't comfortable to be at a drag club, and they were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
no." But he was like, "Yeah, I wanna go," and then 2 other ones were like, "Okay, we'll go, we'll just drink and this and that," and I remember we got drunk and we kissed, and he said he was gay, and he thought I was gonna out him and this, and he ended up being one of my closest friends,
Wow.
and probably the best, like, person to help him meet people and
Yeah.
stuff like that and became comfortable in his skin, and it was nice. Like I said, I think that's awesome. I love that that's a relatable thing because you don't really see that.
I
So,
know you don't, you don't.
yeah, you
And
see a lot of conniving, mean it's hard, it's like a difficult thing. I thought in my head because I've never really experienced that I it would hurt me, but it was kinda nice to have a confidant and someone that he could feel comfortable with. He didn't come out though, out of that.
just to you, just to you.
It
He
was
came
he
out
just
to
came
you.
out to me, which
Yeah.
we had to keep a facade for
Yeah.
almost a year. So I ended up being the girl he hooked up with. So
Oh, okay, okay,
I was
okay.
just like, "Okay," and people assume something, but I was just like, "Wow," it's crazy how people just the brain goes somewhere else, and I'm just like, "Oh, man." But
Right,
yeah.
right. Well, hey, this person, everybody has their own journey, and I'm so glad that they felt comfortable to confide in you, and I'm so glad that you received it with love and support and gave it back. So that's
So
it.
happy for Shane. Happy for Shane that he got down the show. I
Yeah,
wanna see
with Rose, and there's a moment where we see Ilya disappear. He's MIA. It's because he has to go to Russia to confront the fact that his dad, who had dementia, passed away. I know. Yeah, yeah. So there's a moment where him and his brother are confronting each other about the role of Ilya in the family, because essentially Ilya is just a bank to his family.
Yep.
And not only a bank, but it's like, oh, like he can't even be who he truly authentically is in front of his family. So, and his brother, by using the F slur a few times,
Yeah.
seems to kind of know who Ilya is. So yeah, you get a peak moment between them where they're about to rip each other's heads off and so that Lana,
We're gonna call her Lana. We're just gonna call her Lana.
Lana, yeah, Lana, Russia Lana is coming in between them. Russia Lana is coming between them, and Ilya just says, "Fuck it, I'm gonna put a trust in your child's name, his brother's child's name, Ilya's niece or
Yeah.
nephew." And the trust will be available when the child turns 18. And he essentially says to his brother, "As for you, I'm not going to see your ass ever again. I don't want you to talk to me ever again." Boom. So then he gets on the phone with Shane, he gets on the phone with Shane, who I believe is in Canada or whatever. And I think this might be the moment where Ilya sees Shane in glasses for the first time on FaceTime, and he is like, "Oh fuck! Like I was about to talk to
I
you
was
about
like,
something."
even me, I was like, glasses? What?
Yeah,
What?
keep the glasses on and take the clothes off. Literally, he says to keep the glasses on, take the clothes off. But no. They get into a heart to heart about, well, Ilya vaguely talks about the pain he's going through. He can't really quite put it into English words. Shane encourages him to speak it out in Russian because Shane won't understand, and therefore Ilya can feel safe and comforting speaking out anything and
Yeah.
not having to worry about being rejected or judged by Shane. So then you have like this entire monologue that Ilya delivers in Russian to Shane on the phone about how he truly feels about his family, his identity, and his love for Shane. And it just is the sweetest thing that made me want to cry. So highly
Mm.
recommend that. That's one of my top moments, you know? And I wonder if you've ever had that moment where you've been so, I don't know, emotionally caught up in something that maybe you just can't quite put it into English, if that makes sense.
I think so. I think that happens a lot. I mean, especially when you're married, you're
Yeah.
opening up a realm of things. You're with someone and you have different emotions. So yeah, of course. Yeah, I think there's many a times because my husband's my first real love. So there's definitely a bunch of emotions that come up from trauma and everything else. So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah.
So but this is where I was really bawling because like Shane and Ilya, they get back on the court. They're doing their usual hockey rivaling against each other. Shane gets seriously injured to the point where it could be like really bad. He has to go to the hospital, and you see like the concerned face of Ilya, but you can also see him trying to maintain that public mask of, okay, this is not my lover. This is just a rival to me. This means nothing. And we cut to the scene of Shane being all woozied out on drugs, maybe like you are on your flu medicine.
Oh man.
And I remember my wife Tony, she's like laughing next to me because, you know, appropriately enough, Shane is funny when he's hopped up on drugs, but I'm just like fucking in tears from the moment Shane gets injured through the entire loopy comic drug scene, because the love really grows between them at this point. And just to imagine that, like, wow, like the love of your life almost died, and you can't even at least like put a
Show your feel expressions
yeah,
and
put a hand on
maybe
their shoulder, like say, "Are you okay?" For fear of like being rejected by your players, your career's over. Like, I don't know. It just sent me to somewhere else emotionally, and I was a mess. They really got me with that.
Well, I will definitely we definitely have to go back to it so that I can finish it. I'm telling you, I'm gonna rewatch it this weekend.
You're
I'm gonna give
not,
it
because I just spoiled everything
it
for
does no,
you.
because I wanna see this. I have to see it in action. I'm gonna put the right mood of the light, and now that I know there's good scenes, I'm like, "Alright, I'm ready for the base to be at number 7." No, and, like, watch it in its harmony. If you cried, then I have to watch it.
Okay, well,
Yeah, yeah.
wait, are you saying that because I normally
Yeah,
don't cry?
yes, because yeah. Trust me, after the pineapple debacle, it's I For you to be this emotional? Oh no, we're gonna have to watch this. I have to watch it now.
No, no, no. I mean, when you met me when I was talking pineapple on pizza, I was probably a stone cold, heartless.
Game of Thrones. Yeah, you were the
Yeah,
Game of Thrones killer. Yeah.
yeah, I was a bastard. But there's just something about getting older where you tend to be a little bit more fragile with your emotions, and I'm engaging in it, and I love it.
But that's good though. At least I'm taking your opinion, and I'm like, you know what? I'll give it an opportunity because I definitely I'm very particular with my character, my protagonist. So I'm just like, I'm gonna give Eli a little bit of a chance. I'm giving him a second chance, giving him an opportunity. I'll restart the show. No Theraflu. We're gonna see how it goes.
Wait, do you want me to stop spoiling it? Seriously?
No, no, I'm okay. Don't worry. I like remember you can spoil it, but it's different when you see it yourself in your eye. Like the eye, the beauty of the beholder. That's I'm gonna see it myself in my moment. So
The eye is the potato of the soul.
yeah, there you go. The potato of the soul. There we go. And I have a bag of chips right next to me. Potato of the soul. There
Yeah.
we go.
I think I meant the apple of my eye, or the eyes are the window to the soul.
I
I'm
like
sorry.
potato of the soul better. Potatoes, Peruvians, it makes sense. So potato of the soul.
But if you thought you liked Scott Hunter from the other episode I mentioned, he has the courage to come out publicly when he wins the championship. So his New York team wins the championship, and you see,
Yes, coming out.
and you see his undercover lover Kip politely applauding in the crowd because he's used to hiding in the shadows as Scott's lover. And Scott decides that he's done with hiding, because what happens when your team is celebrating, everybody's going off to their loved ones. And Scott
Yeah.
realizes, oh, I have no one to hug or to celebrate
Celebrate
this. And then he looks at Kip in the crowd and just says, fuck it. Come on down. And
Bob
then
Barker, let's go.
I know, and he engages in a wonderful, sweet, celebratory kiss with Kip. Of course, Shane and Elia are watching this championship from home, just like, oh, what the fuck? This can happen? What? And I think in a previous moment or a previous episode, Shane had the courage to offer Elia to spend the weekend with him at like Shane's cottage. And Elia was sitting on it hesitantly, understandably. And then once Elia saw that moment with Scott and Kip on TV, he was just like, fuck it, I'm going to the cottage. So that I think leads into the season finale, where Shane and Elia, they have a romantic, relaxing weekend at the cottage. The longest amount of time they are spending together as their full authentic selves. Yes, it's a private remote place, but they're still themselves. They can have sex, they can have deep conversation, they can have food, they could cuddle by the fire. There's a sweet moment where Elia is like very startled by the sound of a loon, in this Canadian forest. So that was sweet. You see this very sweet scene where Elia's head is on Shane's lap. He's crying and he's admitting to Shane that his mother committed suicide when he was 12. And that combined with the relationship that he had with his dad, which was not great. I mean, you really get more and more of an idea of the difficult childhood that Elia must have had. There's a moment where Shane is clearly jealous over Elia considering marrying Svetlana because he wants American citizenship. Because his Boston contract is up for expiration. And then I believe Shane and Elia, they get together in the bed for one of their sex moments, and they say, I love you for the first time in the heat of the moment. It was great. It's sweet. And then they kind of brainstorm how they can be together. Shane, I think, is the one that suggests that Elia, because Boston and Montreal, the teams that they play for, they have such a legendary, like, intense rivalry.
Yeah.
So they think, okay, one of us has got to stop playing for these teams to ease the tension. And the suggestion was like Elia moved to Ottawa and play for their team, which is not too far from Shane's Montreal team. And then they started charity together and say publicly that, like, oh, hey, like, we have a lot of respect for each other. This Boston Montreal rivalry was silly. And then they retire, and then that's, I guess, their plan for gradually revealing to the public that they fall in love. But going to what we said in the beginning, it's still that thing of like, oh, you gotta hide who you are, and for how long? Because they're young guys, they're young, healthy guys. I mean, were they thinking like, oh, we're just gonna keep on hiding, keep up this charade for another like 10 years?
Yeah. It's crazy that it's in the now, especially since we've been watching shows before that are still people that are closeted. Like think of like My So-Called Life, and you see all these shows, and then you're seeing shows now that you're like, oh, we're still being closeted.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
still closeted.
But Shane and Elia, not as closeted as Shane would prefer, because of course he was. I think Elia was like, "Oh, like, are you going to tell your parents? Are you going to tell your parents?" Daddy, Shane's daddy, had to come to the cottage to get his phone charger.
Oh
That's who
God.
he. He didn't walk into Shane and Elia having sex. He was walking in on Shane and Elia in bathing suits, kissing, and of course the dad was just like, oh, and he turned around and drove away. Yeah,
Oh no.
I know. Yeah. My wife Tony was like, "Oh no, don't drive away, Dad." I get it, like not the immediate response that you would want.
What about the mom? I know she seemed really like she seems so like like really diligent on his life. I feel like she was overwhelming.
Yeah, the mom is certainly like, okay, like you're a great hockey player. This is how you're gonna get success. This is what you're gonna do. Like she's a very planned out, like
Yeah.
helicoptery, like she's a career mom. She's a stage mom for sure. So Shane and Elia decide to face the music together. Shane is just, of course, freaking out. He's just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. My dad, like, this is not what I wanted. My dad just walked in on us. Oh my God, oh my God. And he has no choice but to confront to his parents that he is gay. Elia is sweet. He offers to go with Shane as he's having that conversation with his parents. So they get to the parents' cottage, and the dad did not tell the mom in advance. The dad was sweet enough to let Shane tell his story, and I think Shane just came out with it with Elia, like, okay, I'm gay. And the parents could have been very speechless or very unaccepting, but they were not.
They're supportive.
They were supportive.
I'm shocked because mom is the one that I was like, dang, she's gonna be real interesting if
No,
she find out.
mom was certainly surprised. Well, of course, I think one of the first questions was like, "Oh, Shane, you couldn't find like anyone else in Montreal?" Because of course their first thing was like the rivalry between Boston and Montreal. Like you really had to get someone from Boston. Like they're more into that. And
That's all
then,
you're careful. You're like, oh.
but then they're thinking like, "Oh, okay, maybe this just recently happened," and then they find out that no, this has been happening because the season takes place in the span of like 8 years. So from like,
Yeah, you were saying that. I was like, oh.
yeah,
That's what I was gonna ask. Is this gonna be a continuation series? Is this gonna be like is this the final and then it's a new book from
so they're coming out with season 2, and funny because I thought like because I initially thought that this show was just sex, 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 sex. I really thought that it deserved to only be a miniseries, but I'll tell you about like the way the season ends, because now it makes sense that they'll have a season 2. So going back to what you thought about Shane's mom and how she's just like this really like intense, like career focused mom on behalf of her son. So the parents are taking in all this information. They're of course shocked that Shane and Elia have been having this affair in secret for so goddamn long. There's a moment where Shane goes outside with his mother. His mother had to step away to get a breath of fresh air. And it's a really, really, really emotional moment. It made me cry because Shane is telling his mom, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being different. I'm sorry for being this way. And
Mhm.
I tried so hard to not be different. And the mom has the response that I would have if I had a gay son, which is I I don't care who you are. I uh, if I'm hurt, I'm only hurt because I feel like I created a space where you could not tell me sooner. That's where the
Mm.
mom was coming from. Like she was very loving and accepting, but I think just very um that sort of parental guilt of like, God, like
Yeah.
what did I do? How did I present myself to make my child feel like they couldn't come to me
Be
and tell me
honest.
who they are? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So when they hugged it out and had that moment, that really touched me. And then
Well,
eventually, yeah, go ahead.
I'm happy they did that. Usually I feel like you always get the parents that disapprove of it in every single like series. You always get the one that's like
No, I
so
mean,
that's
what
nice to
there's a good chunk, but maybe nowadays you might get more. I don't know. I'm thinking of you ever seen the movie called Me by Your Name?
me by your name.
No. Call Me by Your Name. Have you seen the movie with Timothy Chalamet and Army Hammer?
No, I haven't seen that.
Alleged creepy cannibalist Army Hammer.
Oh. No, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. I was like, wait, isn't he the guy that literally has been shunned by everyone? Like no
You
one's
pretty
watched.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I have not seen that. That's good to know.
Another queer romance movie, and the actor, God, he's a great actor who I've seen in other things like Boardwalk Empire and that show with Bryan Cranston, Your Honor, who played Timothy Chalamet's father in Call Me by Your Name.
Hmm.
There's a sweet moment where Timothy Chalamet's character essentially comes out to the dad, and you just find out all along that this dad is this very open and sweet and accepting person. So highly recommend the movie. Highly recommend the movie. I don't know if I recommend you watching a show that I spoiled to you, like back
It's
and
fine.
forth. I know I'm repeating
I have a
myself.
lot of friends that like to spoil a lot of movies, and they're lucky I'm not saying their names, and I still watch it. I'm like, shh, shh, don't spoil.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I still watch it anyways because it's so great.
There you go. I love that.
Yeah.
That's very admirable.
Yeah.
And just to kind of close things out with Heated Rivalry. So Shane and Elia, they're together with Shane's parents at the table, and everybody's trying to sort of brainstorm like how Shane and Elia will take the steps to publicly come out. Shane is understandably having a panic attack at like, oh my God, this is all happening at once. And Elia is trying to calm him down and saying like, hey, you're my boyfriend. Like we can figure this out. And of course,
Oh,
Shane's just like, oh, boyfriend, because this is the first time that they've acknowledged that. And yeah, they kind of drive off into the sunset, coming from their parents' cottage with this sort of newfound optimism. Like, okay, like we're in love and this is going to be a thing that will be out there. We can figure this out. There is hope. And that's what led me to say, okay, now I want season 2. Now I know where this is going to go, because then you get this journey of how are they going to get this out to the public step by
yeah.
step by step. So, yeah,
Okay.
my thoughts on Heated Rivalry. Wonderful queer romance. Go see it. And Steph, if I haven't ruined it for you, sure, watch it again. If you still don't like it, I won't hold
Oh,
it against you. It's not for
I'm gonna write
everybody.
notes this time. I'm gonna write notes because
Look,
I feel like if after you've said that, all I've got for the beginning is like they were so tense. Maybe that's why too. They're so tense in the beginning. Like you could tell, like even like their body language. So I want to see how they are with their body language at the end. Now that you've given me the spoilers,
I think
I'm
it's
kind of
fitting.
curious.
I think
I kind of want to see.
I think as hetero seeming guys in hockey who are basically told through society that like you got to be this strong man and you can't be fragile, you can't be weak, you can't be vulnerable. I
Yeah,
think it might have been intentional that they were just like, all right, I'm going to build up this wall and nobody
yeah.
can get through. And then once you gradually see them like become more vulnerable with each other, that's when the show becomes sweet. So
Sure. I'll definitely promise this weekend. Check it out.
I'm
I'm getting
holding you to it, or else I'm going to give you the
yeah.
flu
No, I'll
myself.
write it. I'll be like, all right, I'm starting it now. I'm in the middle.
I will
So
give you a flu 2.005
to get a
fusion.
free pass.
I'm gonna
Free
give you a
flu
flu
pass.
fusion powder like you don't expect if you don't watch this.
I will, I promise. I'm committed. I was just like, and plus it's been crazy at work. So I'm like, I'm committed now. So
No, I totally get what you mean. No worries, no worries. All right, so we have that, and then the other big event in streaming television was the end of Stranger Things, which, of course, if you don't know, you should know. Created by the Duffer
yeah.
Brothers for Netflix. The synopsis, really briefly, for those who may not know, it's set in the 80s. It's it's centered on residents of the small town of Hawkins, Indiana. After a young girl with psychokinetic abilities, she's named 11. She opens a gateway between Earth and a hostile alternate dimension known as the Upside Down at a nearby human experimentation facility. We've had quite a run with this show because if you remember, Steph, the first season came out in July of 2016. Do you
Yeah.
remember? This was around the time we were having our pineapple on pizza debate.
It was rejects time. It was highly Stranger Things caused a lot of marketing for us for rejects. So Chad was heavily inspired by reject by the Stranger Things and
Really?
the pop culture and everything. Yeah, our shirts were basically some of them were very heavily inspired by everything in that show. Sometimes, like Chad was so like we were in awe of that show. We watched it together obsessively, and then for it to end, I was like, oh my god, this is the best show ever.
It's been a
Like,
long journey. I mean, first of all, the world was completely different.
yeah.
I mean, well, this was a time when we had a normal president, so that's one,
Mm.
and I don't know what else happened in 2016. I mean, the TikTok wasn't even a thing then. This was
No.
pre-pandemic. Yeah, was 2016 was a very very different reality, and you had the second and third seasons come out in 2017 and 2019. No, I'm sorry, the second and third. Did I say the second and third seasons?
Oh my God, now that you said TikTok wasn't available, I remember even doing, like, I was so excited making waffles levitate in one of my promos too. And now that TikTok has changed and AI has come into play, I'm like, oh my God, I was so excited. And if I was to play that video now, it'd be garbage.
That
Like,
I remember
comparing.
the thing of like Young 11 with the Eggo waffle box. That was a popular
Yeah.
Halloween costume
Yeah.
for I think like 2016 or 2017. But
Girls were shaving their heads. They were like, that was the style. Like, I think no, I already had it before shaved, but I know that was the it, like, hairdo. People were getting pixie cuts, cutting their hair.
oh my god, of course. So you had seasons 1, 2, and 3, 2016, 2017, and 2019. The fourth season came out in two parts in 2022, and this was post like pandemic, because
Yeah.
I think for better or worse, the pandemic pretty much ended around like mid to late 2022. Certainly by beginning of 2023, it seems like we were not talking about COVID the way we talked about it in the first couple years. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, 2020. I only know it because that's when COVID really hit, was when I started my job, and that's when everything just went to storm. People were losing people. So yeah, I definitely know that 2020 was the, like, spring of us being, like, incubated at
Oh yeah,
home.
yeah. So
And then
2020
it
to
stopped
2022.
like 22. Yeah, 22.
Yeah, and it was I met my wife in June of 2020, and I know that we watch Stranger Things. Oh god, we were definitely watching it like around the time that the fourth season came out in 2022. So maybe like 2021 and 2022, where it was when we were catching up on the first four seasons of the show. Because I remember I tried to watch it on my own around the time that it was coming out in the mid to late 2010s. I wasn't getting into it. Maybe I tried watching it with my now ex in the state of Iowa where I was living at the time, and I wasn't into it. And then I tried it again with my now wife Tony. She was my girlfriend at the time, and yeah, no, we were hooked. And then you had like a Hollywood actors and writers strike that was happening in 2023.
Yeah. Yeah, and there was a big pause.
Yeah, oh, but that's an understatement. It took freaking
It was a
3 years
big
for them
pause.
to come out with the final season, and
Yeah.
they released it in three parts. The finale recently came out on New Year's Eve, and you saw it in the movie theater.
I did. I bought tickets immediately. I wanted to have that experience with, like, people cheering. I was like, "I need that," and we did it. We watched it New Year's Eve. We celebrated New Year's Eve at the theaters, and we left with our Uber driver in the snow. So I thought it was the perfect. I thought me and my husband were like, "This is a perfect ending for New Year's. Like, this is the best."
So I was telling my wife Tony about like for whatever reason how weird it seemed to watch Stranger Things in a movie theater, because like all right, like you see almost any movie on Netflix and they could be played in theaters, but I don't know, there was just something about the concept of like, oh no, it's the length of a movie. The finale was like 2 hours
Yeah.
plus, but just imagining like, because you know the way a Netflix show starts, it'll have that boom boom, and then it'll
Yeah.
just kind of get right into it. What was it like that in the movie theater? Did they have the boom boom Netflix logo?
They did. Thankfully, okay, when I tell you, we did not expect to be in line for 45 minutes for popcorn. I never in my life. I was like, "What the?" And we went early. So we were so nervous because I was like, "Oh no, it's gonna start and I'm gonna miss it. What if they're gonna do the bump bump and then that's," you know what I mean? Like, I was like, so we didn't realize they had previews for that. So I was like, "Okay." So we got in exactly when they did the bump bump. So we were
Yeah.
walking in. So but it was also darker. I did realize it was darker in the theater. It was hard to see sometimes. I don't know if maybe visually we were at the end seats, but it was a darker experience. I don't know how they released it in the theater for the quality of it, but when we saw it back again at home, it seemed a little brighter. So I
So
don't know the quality of Netflix when they showed it in theaters.
right.
It was I I appreciated the environment, but not the quality.
Okay. So it's not so much the theater lighting, it was like something about the screen display.
Yeah,
Uh
it just I wish they did it IMAX or maybe Dolby. It would have been awesome for the sound quality. I think me and my husband were like, should we have watched it at home? But I did like that at least we got some cheering. People were clapping. People knew to laugh at the right parts. Like that was the exciting part of it all. I think that was fun.
Yeah.
Like I definitely know people clapped and we did the gaspings at the same time, and that was enjoyable.
Yeah.
So
And I know K-pop Demon Hunters, another Netflix thing, was also in theaters. I don't know. The way this
oh no, that should have been in theaters release 100%.
Wait, with K-pop Demon Hunters?
Yeah,
It was?
I was like, I think I bawled more in the theater in K-pop Demon Hunter in the theater, and like was way like, "Whoa, this is awesome!"
Yeah.
Like this is way better in the theater. They should have released this in the theater first.
Yeah. Yeah.
But definitely different experience. But like, yeah, no, K-pop Demon Hunters should have been a theater release, 100%.
Yeah. Well, it's a Netflix original, so of course
Yeah,
they're gonna give priority to their streaming subscribers. And I think
yeah.
it was like a simultaneous thing. Maybe it was both streaming and theater at the same time, or maybe streaming first and then theater
Yeah, they
later.
did. They released it for on streaming, but I think you got the opportunity to watch it in different time slots at theaters.
And you guys
Like
saw
my sister saw the same thing too, but she got a different time slot. She's like, "Oh yeah, ours was way better." So I'm like, I don't know, maybe it was the quality in the Plainville AMC that sucked, or maybe it was better at Cinemark, but I definitely thought they were gonna do Adobe or something, or maybe make it more like IMAX or something, but no, it
You're
was
bringing me
just
back. That Plainville, Connecticut AMC. I think a girl I was involved with shortly before I moved from Connecticut to Iowa. I think that's where we saw Get Out. In
oh,
20, this would have been 2017. Yeah.
yeah.
And of course that Jordan Peele movie that blew up that year. So that was fantastic to see. I don't know, man. Especially with like Netflix trying to buy the fuck out of Warner Brothers. I think they're still competing with Paramount on that deal because literally they're trying to buy this giant legacy movie studio. And there are some people concerned about it because Netflix may prioritize releases on streaming a lot more than
Streaming,
theaters. There
yeah.
was this story kind of circulating around. I don't know if it's true or not, but alleging that Netflix would, if they owned Warner Brothers, would have movies in theaters for just 17 days before it became a streaming only thing, which I guess shouldn't be surprising because already the way it is, it just seems like movies are in theaters for like 2 minutes before they're already released on streaming. But yeah, no, the stranger things of it all, the idea that like, oh, this thing that I've been used to seeing like as a streamer, like to the limitations of my TV screen or my smartphone, the fact that it's gotten to a point where you can walk into a movie theater and see that otherwise intimate home experience. It's just I'm trying to process how I feel about that because I don't know. I guess I've always thought that there was going to be this clear separation between like the olden days, like, oh, there's what you see on TV, whether it be cable or broadcast, and then there's what you see in the movies. I thought
Yeah.
it would always be like that with streaming, like, oh, streaming is just something that you do at home, and then movies specifically in the theater, but now it's all integrated, and it's going to be an interesting future ahead of us, you know.
For a person who's experienced waiting in line for tickets and seen Titanic 20 times while waiting in line for a ticket, yeah, when Titanic came out, I saw it in East Hartford when it was a movie theater, and I waited in line those 20 times for tickets. I watched Titanic 20 times because I was a huge fan of the CGI and all I love James Cameron. I do appreciate like I'm a huge Avatar fan and more of the quality of how he films things with and his writing skills and everything like that. So yeah, I was that person that would I was a moviegoer. Me and my sisters are huge moviegoers. We appreciate that. So I don't think for me it's going to make a difference because I will still go to the movie theaters and I will enjoy
Yeah.
and I will sit there. But I do feel saddened that that experience is trying to be kind of taken away because it's a great moment to like it's like the date night, it's the
Yeah.
family,
Yeah.
it's the nostalgic experience. But I don't know. I hope that they don't take away that experience. Because I know now people are making their own movie rooms and they're making their own dens and their
Yeah,
own
it's like it basically technology streaming, it's been designed so that you don't have to leave your house. And when you don't leave your house, you're restricting the community that you could have with a bunch of other people who like the same thing that you do. Particularly horror movies, like that's something that's a great communal experience. My wife Tony and I, we saw not too long ago Weapons, which I
Great.
the best horror movie I've seen in quite a long time. And to
Really?
hear the
Oh,
reactions of other people, like along with the reactions that we were having, it's just it feels great. I had that same experience with all the Jordan Peele movies and so on and so forth. So yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I really hope that okay, if we're going to be in a world where Netflix owns a fucking movie studio,
yeah.
uh to try to maintain that purity of the movie theater experience, I think would be very important because it's just there's nothing else like it.
I think too, I was watching even with, Ryan Cooling doing Sinners, how he wanted that specific quality to
Yeah.
be seen and that millimeter because it just I think there's an essence to movie watching. That's the reason why you wanna do be in the movies. You watch the editing, you watch the special effects, you watch this. There's this quality that you like, and that's why you wanna do that. So I'm like, I hope they don't take that for that generation that can enjoy it because I know streaming is great and stuff like that, but there's this, like, essence of movie watching. Like, I don't have the same experience watching Avatar, watching it at home. Like, I've
Yeah.
tried to put light, I've tried to do everything
Yeah.
to give it that, like but you can't get it. Like, when I watch Avatar because my husband's like, "Oh, no, we could just watch it this, it's cheaper." I'm like, "No, we must watch it in this quality
Yeah. Yeah.
and feeling." There's certain things, but not everything.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Avatar, Star Wars, there's just certain movies where if you don't see it in the theater, you're silly because there's just something about that all-encompassing big screen, like loud
Yeah.
volume
Sounds,
experience.
yeah.
It really gets you. So, as Stranger Things is now done, I want to get your thoughts about it. Like, I'll just briefly give my thoughts about it because I think you're a lot more passionate about it than I am. So basically, Stranger Things is your heated rivalry.
It is. I'll watch that all the time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like for any TV show or movie I go into, like a Stranger Things, like all I'm looking for is the relationships between the characters, the
Mhm.
examinations of the characters themselves. That's all I care about. With Stranger Things, I never really paid much attention to the supernatural details of it all. It was just not my cup of tea. But what I was there for was Eleven and Mike's puppy love romance. I was there for the father daughter relationship between
Hopper.
11 and Jim Hopper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will's coming out journey in that finale. That was particularly a sweet experience. I'm there for the love triangle between Jonathan and Nancy and Steve. Speaking of Steve, oh my God, he went from a dick to this very sweet guy who has a nice friendship with Robin and has this kind of complicated on and off friendship with Dustin.
Yeah.
That really comes to a head as the show closes out. Like Jim and Joyce's romance, I love. Like I don't know, just all those relationships, just seeing how these characters interact with each other, how they go about the day to day life with each other while this otherworldly thing is happening. Like that's what's kept me going for 5 seasons. And now that Stranger Things is done, now that clearly this is a show that meant a lot to you and now it's over, just take me through the trajectory of like the high points, the low points of the show for you, like what it's meant and where we go from here.
Okay, let's see. Personally, my favorite character is Dustin.
Yeah.
I love Dustin. I love his relationship with Steve. I love it. I love that you do see like Steve being a douche in the beginning. He's that typical guy that you see in every 80s movie, jock. But then I love that at the end of it, he creates this like loving and even identification for him because I think he was always incorporated as a jock. And even his like devotion with Nancy and how he creates it with Jonathan. I love those little tiny like moments with each character that has like their own personal bonds
Yeah.
like him and Robin, and then him with, like, even, like, 11, like because you don't see those moments,
Yeah.
and I even watch interviews. I've been obsessively watching interviews with him and just talking about his moments, how he didn't have with certain actors, but you felt it behind the scenes. 11 too, I think the one emotional scene for me was the Hopper talking to 11 at the end,
Oh.
or, like, that moment where he's gonna shoot the bullets and
Yeah.
gets mess with him, but, like, him saying, like kinda Hopper being like, "Look, I'm not doing this unless I know that you're gonna be on page and not gonna kill yourself," basically, and him being like, "Look, I get it. You didn't have a childhood. You basically were being" she was everyone's kind of person. Like, she didn't
Mhm.
get a moment to rest, and I didn't realize it until that speech, and I'm like, "Damn, this girl, she just wants a moment where someone's like, 11, but 11 can do this, and 11 can do that. 11, 11, 11." I'm like, "Even Mike, like, ugh, suffocating."
Yeah.
I'm like
Yeah.
she didn't get a moment to just enjoy. So I love that that was the I believe. You don't know if it's real or if it's Mike writing
Mhm.
this story in his head, or but I even love that moment where each of them had such a different dialect, and I believe like such a different experience because
Mhm.
they brought little things. So
Mhm.
I love that the Duff brothers also did this feeling because I am an 80s kid, that feeling of Stand By Me, that feeling of The Breakfast Club,
Yeah.
that like character development, that character like connection. The things that you miss in those qualities of movies, even in Home Alone, Macaulay Culkin, like there's so even the kids, the smaller generations, like I think I made a post like there's a comedy that they brought that like Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd, like all those things that I was like, oh my God, this is the perfect scene. Like I didn't care about the characters. I actually liked the new characters
Yeah.
bringing a dynamic, and I was like, "Oh, they did such a beautiful job with just the moments and the cutoffs." And I was like, "Oh," and Derek, delightful Derek. I loved him.
Yeah.
He was great. I liked the sister also, they bringing her in and how the beginnings of her and the brother bringing her into it. I just thought it was great. It did pay a good homage to the 80s. Such a good moment, especially with the loss of that big director who did Stand By Me.
Yeah. Rob Reiner. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did such a great, like, homage in that sense of kinda being, like, respectful to those characters too. Like, I was like, "Oh, this ended perfect." You know what I mean? I think they did a good job. I know I saw some hate out there, but I was like, for a person who saw the show religiously and keeps rewatching it, I'm just like, "Oh, well, they did great. They did great with the characters and how they developed." Even Nancy, like, you would wanna think that she's gonna pick either Steve or Jonathan, and I think even at the end, I don't know if anyone caught it, but like there was kind of a respectable scene between them as the adults.
Yeah.
It felt like Reality Bites with Winona Ryder and Ethan Hawke.
Oh, fittingly
And
enough, Winona Ryder. Yeah.
yeah, and it's funny because Robin and her, her dad is Ethan Hawke, and it just was such a great moment of them talking about it. Just felt like that 90s vibe too, like that beginning of the 90s of them being adults. So I was like, oh man, this feels great, relatable. So it was nice. So
I love that. I love that.
yeah.
I still have to, post Rob Reiner dying, and by the way, for those of you listening, you all can see me and my friend Laura talk about Rob Reiner in an episode that we did not too long ago. But yeah, Stand By Me. I still got to see that movie. I have not seen it yet. I know. I've seen When Harry Met Sally. That's one of my favorites. And that Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson movie. What is it? As
Rain Man?
no. That's Tom Cruise and
Oh,
Dustin
wait.
Hoffman. That has nothing to do
Oh,
with
wait, I'm sorry. You said Tom Cruise and who?
Jack Nicholson. You Can't Handle the Truth. What's that
Oh,
movie
as
called?
good as the one with Kevin Bacon, right? A
Maybe
Few Good Men. A
A
Few
Few
Good
Good
Men.
Men. Yes, I
A
was
Few
going to
Good
say
Men.
As Good as It Gets, but that's like I think a comedy
I
with
was
Jack
like, that's a
Nicholson.
different movie.
So yes, the some of Rob Reiner's work I've seen, and some I still have yet to see, but I will see. Stand By Me. I saw it because you know how like you go on a streamer and it
Yeah.
like gives you stuff that they think you'll like. It's like I'll put it on my list. I
You
will.
know what's crazy? A couple of days before Rob Reiner got murdered, my cousin went to a Stand By Me reunion with Sam Wheaton and everything. And she
Wow.
was like, she wrote us and she was like, hey, they have a box here to ask questions. So she texted me and my sister, and I put like, can you ask Sam Wheaton, what would you say to your 1985,
Mhm.
to your 1985 self? And it's so funny that the question they picked my question, and I was
Really?
so shocked. And then that's when we were like, "Whoa, it's so weird that this moment." And then he ends up writing that post and we about his experience and everything and how his feelings. I know they probably were wanting to get interviewed like crazy, but yeah, it was just kind of like crazy even with the question picked, how I think of myself when I watch Stranger Things and seeing like this movie based on something that I grew up like I would be in this genre of
Mhm.
85 kids,
Mhm.
and kind of asking myself that same question like, well, imagine if something like this would happen to someone like,
Yeah.
in those experiences. So it's kind of cool just to kind of picture all that
I
and
love
see
that.
yourself grow up because now I'm 40 and I'm like I'm in that genre of that sense of like this is me looking back like
Yeah.
on my life if I was a kid. So
I
yeah.
love that. Well, I love that you had this special relationship with Stranger Things. I love that I loved Heated Rivalry enough to spoil it for you the way that I did.
It's okay.
I enjoy you coming on. I really would love it if you came on again sometime. This was wonderful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely pick a show that, I'll watch fully. I will wa so I'll be prepared.
Hey, no worries, no worries, no worries. And speaking of Leo DiCaprio, to your Titanic reference, in some episode, I have to talk about One Battle After Another, the
Great
latest.
movie.
It is a great movie. Oh my god!
Beautiful. It was great. I was like, wow. It
Yeah.
was
Can't wait, can't wait. Yeah, I'll
uh,
have a podcast connection called Ian who is going to come on and talk about it with me. So
perfect. I'll definitely check that out.
yeah,
You
yeah.
should do a Bridgerton discussion too.
Oh my god, I haven't seen that show in a while. Oh god.
Coming. It's coming. It's coming back.
Yeah, I am so like, oh god, I'm so basic because like I think I only watched it when it was like really really buzzy during its first season with like Ray J, John Page, whatever the fuck that guy's name was, and then I just fell off from it like once the cast changed from the second season on. So I have to check back in with it. I'm sure.
Yeah, when there was a plus size protagonist finally who wasn't just like the shy plus, it was just nice to see her be the actual like love and interest and sexual like I guess sexual fantasy for this popular guy. I was like, oh my god, finally. Finally, we're not like this sad, pathetic girl that's being bullied.
Didn't
Like
it
we're
end or is it still going with seasons?
it's still going. I think now they change it with like the kids, like they make them their main focus. So I
Yeah.
think this one's gonna be now the brother that is technically bisexual but doesn't know, but maybe
Mm.
he's gay, maybe he's not, but now he's a female that's the main girl who's Asian. So we don't know. So like, well, this is gonna be the path. And then same thing with the sister who's like this feminist who doesn't want to get married, but
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see what happens. So
All right. I'm there. I'm
mm,
there regardless.
yeah.
All right. Well, for those listening and watching, listen, watch whatever, The Delicious Culture, wherever you get your podcasts. We're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, SiriusXM, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. If you like what you are consuming, please leave a 5-star rating on Spotify. Please leave a sweet review on Apple Podcasts. That would be great. You can email me at thedeliciousculture@gmail.com if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or feedback. That is thedeliciousculture@gmail.com. At The Delicious Culture on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok is where you can find the show. I personally am on TikTok at Jon Francois Presents and Ehhsteph. Anything you would like to promote?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok. If you want to laugh and see my craziness, you can go to
I love your
Esteph.
craziness on TikTok.
Just up and down. And also, yeah, getting into my oddities and redoing my artist page. So check out my oddities. And if you want a commission, anything creepy, monsters, stranger things, let me know.
There you go.
So
At Monk Oddities, is that what it is?
mug_oddities at for Instagram. And if my website right now, if you want to check it out, it's www.ehhsteph.com. So it's EHHSTEPH.com. So yeah.
I love that. All right. Well, I think that we should end this episode as we always do, and we should allow deliciousness to ring.